left-wing Kingz. Listen, think, act, repeat.
Conservatives no longer think there's fraud because now they focusing all of their energy on technicalities. Like they don't think voter fraud exists. I guess they leaving it alone. Now all of a sudden they worried about technicalities.
They still believe in it. They just doing. They being extra now.
You know what? We'll see. They sure spend a lot of energy on this technicality. They spend the same energy on voter fraud. But the point that I'm trying to make is there's been an increase in conservative-led efforts to purge voter rolls. And
this is a big thing.
Basically they looking at the all the people who are on record as being eligible voters and trying to purge them by taking out people who maybe have their address wrong or, didn't update their birth date may be wrong or something crazy like that. So these conservative groups are claiming that the voter lists are riddled with mistakes. And we're seeing these groups that are challenging eligible voters who have certain issues, typos, whatever, on their voter rolls. So, Ace, are these actions justified, or is this just another means to suppress the voter turnout and silence certain demographics?
Yeah, it's the latter part. It's the latter part. I mean, because they, and I can only speak off of a special that I've seen in Georgia, but they're targeting minority-based districts. That's what they're going after. They're going to where, and that's what they were saying on the program. They were saying, hey, you know what? Isn't it ironic that all these people are people of color that you're going after this on? You haven't noticed that. And they're saying, hey, we're just trying to do it over everything. But there's a conscious movement and effort to go after these districts and try to purge these lists of voters. And, they got to go in front of a board. They got to do all of this crazy stuff. And a lot of it is just technical things that if they probably just sent them email, they could probably just change it and be over with. But they're actually going in and trying to get these votes removed. Now, why is somebody that concerned about that? You know what I'm saying? And the first thing out of the lady's mouth was, hey, you know what? Because, the last election was fraud or was rigged or whatever the case may be. All right, we damn near almost 4 years into the presidency. He's already gone. You still think the election was rigged, and you still go in groups. And the scary part to me is it's not like only happening in Georgia; it's happening in states all across the country. You know what I'm saying? That they're doing this and just trying to get things removed on the technicality, and just really trying to me, affect the vote. When it's all said and done. So yeah, it's. I don't think this person woke up out the goodness of their heart and said, hey, you know what, man? People ain't got the right addresses, man, and they ain't got the right birthday, man. Let me see what I can do to make that right, out the kindness of my heart.
Right.
I think they're looking for a loophole on how can we win this next election and what can we aim on and focus on to get that done. And that's actually what they're doing right now. And it's horrific. It's crazy.
Yeah, I looked in Texas, so I looked at some statistics to try to see, like, where is this happening? Is it so frequent? Do we need to be paying attention? Because it might really be a concern. So according to the records from the Attorney General's office, there was 534 offenses. Out of that, 154 people were charged. So they're 534. Now get this, though. How many people voted in 2020? 15,426,651. In the state of Texas at that time, there was 29.53 million people, okay? So basically about almost half are voting. And out of that, you got 534 offenses, and that's what we're concentrating on. That is called negligible in the statistics world. So we are focusing on these 500. And I'm not saying we don't want any voter fraud. I'm not saying we want technicality, any of that. But you focus on 534, and you got 15 million people who voted, and you got 29 million people in the state of Texas. You know what I mean? So I was like, why are we focusing on that? So again, in statistics, this would be negligible and we would not be talking about it, period. Then on that, as far as illegal voting, 272 charges of the 530 offenses were resolved. So basically there was issues like addresses or something. And then after they try to say, hey, did you know XYZ happened? They fixed 272 out of the 534 offenses. So over 50% of them or something that you could have called somebody on and fixed, that it was not like malice intent. But that's what we're harboring on these mail-in voter, ballots and things of that nature. And they have so many, basically, things that they're doing in order to make sure that it's not voter fraud or somebody's trying to do something intentional. And my thing is, you ain't got enough people voting.
Yeah.
So we're focusing on the fact that we got now we have 30.3 million residents in 2023. We got people who are not even voting, but we're focusing on voter fraud.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
They don't even vote.
They're not focusing on voter fraud.
Or even the technicality. This is technicalities.
Right. They're not focusing on voter fraud because fraud, to your point that you said, there's malintent. You're doing something with the intent to deceive. That's fraud. Right? So fraudulent voting would be like, hey, you got a dead person and they voting. Or you got a person voting 5 times.
Right.
Or you got like, something like that where you're purposefully creating additional votes for someone that should not be there. This is not that.
Right.
These are errors.
Yeah.
These are
And I
errors
think
of
it's fixable.
someone who did not do something on a piece of paper or change something since they put it on that piece of paper. So they're not looking to fix anything that they blamed us for. They're saying that we did all this fraudulent stuff. But they're like, oh, you're committing fraud. So I'm going to go over here and fix all your errors. That's not the same thing, bro.
No.
Why you stop complaining about you're not even doing something to fix the issue
Or mitigate
You're not You're not addressing the issue at hand. If you're going to say there's fraud, if you got a committee out there or conservative group that wants to go out there and find fraud, guess what? They tried that. There wasn't shit to fucking find.
Yeah, there's nothing to find.
So now that there is no fraud that you can prove, which many people went on the air and said, yes, there's fraud. These people are that's why Giuliani just lost 150 mil.
Yeah.
Lying, saying that these ladies were committing voter fraud when they were not. You know what I'm saying? And now, well, because you can't do that no more because you've picked all the fruit from the tree. The low-hanging fruit has been picked. You found nothing.
Yeah.
So now you want to go in this route and try to suppress voting.
Yeah.
By looking at errors.
Exactly.
It's not even fraud. That's why I say they gave up on fraud.
Yeah.
They done with
'Cause
fraud.
nothing.
Because there's
There's
nothing to
evidence.
find now. Now they then switch lanes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did see, and just like what Adrian said, like where they're targeting. So Harris County, which is here in Texas.
They love talking in Harris County.
They
boy.
had audit findings, and these are 2023. So this year, they had almost 3,600 mail-in ballots were sent to voters, but not reported to the state. So, but why are you targeting certain areas? Are we more likely to vote? I don't know. Like, are you just the populace? So that information, of course, I couldn't find because I was like, why are we targeting certain areas? Because again, Harris County, are predominantly black.
Yeah.
They
put one
county.
voter box in Harris County.
Yeah,
That's
why
crazy.
are we right?
In Houston.
But that's not called suppression.
Oh, that's suppression. Houston traffic is the worst traffic I've seen ever in life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you got one box is across town, guess what? You're probably not voting, dog. Not
Like
at
you're
all.
suppressing.
Exactly.
You are.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's suppression, man. I mean, it's just I mean, kind of back to what you were saying, Sean, about the fraud thing. Yeah, it's not fraud because they're not focusing on that. Here's the deal. If you're trying to be righteous about it, then why are you trying to get votes thrown out? That's the deal. Why are you trying to get votes thrown out behind that?
Exactly.
And somebody didn't change the address. Like one guy, he was a barber, you know what I'm saying? And at the, he was having hard times and he was homeless, but he had the barber shop. So he had his barbershop address on there. You know what I'm saying? So they wanted to suppress his vote because that's a commercial address. But that's where he was living at the time. What that got to do with his vote?
Nothing.
Nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Not a felon.
It's not fraud. It's
right.
not fake.
Right.
Exactly.
It's a real person voting.
So if you, and we all know, and I like when people play dumb. We all know where the black people live and the white people live and the Hispanic people live. So if you go out and say, hey, I'm going to look at this district and I'm going to check all the votes over here and the ones that are good, I'm going to try to get them thrown out. We know what you're doing.
Yes,
You know what
sir.
I'm saying? So, and that's basically what's going on. And on the show, she was trying to play dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying. What I'm doing is helping you. She said some shit like that. Like, no, you ain't.
Because you ain't over here in your area doing that and trying to get no votes thrown out.
Yeah, if you wanted to help him, you would have noticed the discrepancy and maybe even just sent him a letter in the mail personally.
Yeah.
You said, Mr. Voter, I want to make sure your vote counts. Your address
do?
isn't right.
Yeah.
You need to update that or else you might lose your right to vote.
Yeah. They got my man all in front of a committee. And they're making him have to prove himself and all this and that. If you just were legitimately trying to help him out, you could easily reached out to him just like you said. And then he's a veteran. That's the other thing. You know, he had some mental problems and some problems coming back from when he was serving on his tour. That's why he fell into homelessness. And now all of a sudden you're gonna go after this man's vote. And just to quote him, he's like, dude, I was over there protecting your right to vote. Now you're trying to take mine away over here.
Right.
Yeah, you understand why these veterans go crazy on people. You know what I'm saying? Like, look what y'all do, man. This is crazy. You know, for what? Because you lost the election and you because that's basically what it is. You're a sore loser. You lost the election. You want to say we cheating? Because you know who said we cheating?
They cheating.
And once again, the person who put that in and tried to get his vote taken away knows he's not cheating.
Yeah.
Having the wrong address, yes, that's not right. You have to fix that. And he could have been proactive once he got on his feet and fixed his address, you know, before all of this happened. So let me just put that out there for all of you who are like, well, he should have fixed his address. Yes, okay. Man could have fixed his address. I'm not trying to say that he shouldn't have done what's right, but he was not trying to cheat. He was not trying to commit fraud. He just made an honest mistake and didn't update his freaking address. That's not fraud. Okay? That's a technicality that he should have fixed. And that's what that is. So stop screaming fraud and then trying to do something else. Like, it's like me saying, I like ice cream, but then I eat cake instead all the time. If I like ice cream, eat ice cream. If it's fraud, tackle fraud. If it's not, stop saying it. You know what I'm saying? I just want to bring up some of these points real quick, Walanda, before you go on to some of our viewers. Stacy brought up the point that you talked about the 534 votes would not have changed the election or any election.
No.
Depending on, you know, the populace. Steve says, the question is how many people are disenfranchised by purging their voter rolls? A ridiculous number of people who want, as he said, vote. I don't know what that means, but are not able to. Who want to vote, maybe that's what he meant. I don't know. And then Stacy said, in the most recent election, they don't even ask for your voter registration card. They ask for your Texas driver's license. Scanned it to verify your address, then ask me and my son to verify if your address is correct. I was waiting for her to take out a freaking Bible and have me raise my right hand. This was just a local election.
And she is correct, because we vote at local level. We vote in every time there's something to vote for, we are there. And that's what they do. They take our driver's license. They ask us, is this still your Miss Whitaker? Do you still live at this present address? Yes. And then you move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's at every single one that we have gone to. Every single one. And my thing is, with Texas makes me upset is that if you have a problem getting your driver's license right now, you are once again suppressing the vote. Our son lost his driver's license. I mean, it took us almost an act of God for me to get him his driver's license. And he wasn't able to vote last time because he didn't have his license because his wallet was stolen. You know what I mean? So they make it very difficult. And I don't understand. I wish they'd make it more difficult for you to do what I talk about, tax fraud. Okay, let's focus on that. People who are escaping their taxes, wealthy people. Like, can we talk about that? Because that's more of an issue.
Well, something that's not difficult to do is clicking the like button. Yeah. So if you like this video, go ahead and click that like button.
We got you this time.
And then if you want to hear more conversations like this, make sure that you subscribe to Left Wing Kingz, all right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the things we can do to protect our right to vote? I mean, these people, we got conservative groups out there targeting us. Like you said, they can look up our zip codes. They know where we live. They targeting us and trying to suppress our right to vote and remove us. They're trying to remove us from the voter rolls. Like you said, Harris County had one box to go vote at, right?
Yeah.
Well, if this man did not take the time to go to that board meeting, he would have been pulled from the voter rolls. So how can we protect our right to vote?
You know, and I'll speak to that in a minute. I just want to reiterate and make people understand why they going to so much trouble to make sure we won't vote. You know, because I think the problem we have is I hear this, well, I'm not going to vote or my vote ain't important or whatever. Man, they wouldn't be going through all this trouble if it wasn't important, man. You know, understand what politics is and voting, and that's the allocation of power and resources, and that's what they're going after. So if you don't think that's important, keep sitting up there talking about your vote don't count. Just don't complain to me about it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not hearing.
Don't complain about anything.
Don't complain about anything. Right. You have no voice. So, but I mean, you know, you just got to be on your P's and Q's and pay attention. Like, you know, you need to know the laws of what it takes to vote. Like, you know, you probably want to update your address. I mean, that's got to be. You want to make sure you're registered. You want to do all of that and just, you know, be important. Understand being a citizen. And I think a lot of people don't understand this, especially our community. Being a citizen of this country. You know, specific rights that you have. And your biggest right, and I know a lot of people hear this, people died for your right to vote. You know what I'm saying? Is that important? It is. You know what I'm saying? People had civil rights movements, marches, luncheons, sit-ins, and all that good stuff to just make sure you had the right to vote. Why? Because there was a time in this country, as black people, we didn't have that right, and we were dictated to. And we had to, we talking about school vouchers. We had schools we went to, and they told us separate but equal. That's school we went to, and they gave us secondhand books. We had to go to our own colleges and all that stuff. So you got to understand that once we got the power to vote and became part of the community and be able to have some influence, that's when our political power came in. You know what I'm saying? So it's important. You know what I'm saying? So you need to understand the rules and just pay attention and be serious. Protect your vote, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And be serious about it.
Yeah. There's also like, at least here in Texas, I don't know how it works in other places, but every time you get that voter registration card, that's an opportunity. It's a reminder for you to update your information. On that card, there's actually a thing that tells you to update your information. You can send it back. You can send that back to them with your updated information on your registration card. So when you get that in the mail, if something's wrong, you got that opportunity there to fix it. As well as you can go online. You can go online. I don't have, you can call it the number you could call. You can go online. You can fix your information. Make sure that when these people go through and they looking through and trying to scroll through and find something that's wrong, that you're not on that list. Because your ass might go to the voter thing and they take your ID card and scan it and be like, you can't vote. You don't want to go up there. First of all, you want to wait in that damn line and not be able to vote.
We don't ever have a line.
I'm talking about not local. I'm talking about like when it's time to vote, like for the president.
Okay, yeah.
There going to be some lines up in here in 2024.
We can give you no water either.
Right, exactly. And
can't be comfortable.
Make sure that when you get up to the front and you scan that joker, that you can vote. Because you don't get scanned till you get all the way into the room.
All the way.
And you don't want to get surprised.
All the way. So, it ain't like Chick-fil-A where somebody run out there with a pad.
Yeah, tell you ahead of time.
You gotta get up to the front.
Nope, you got to get all the way up.
You don't want to do that. You don't be that brother.
You don't want to be that one. Oh, shit, I can't vote. Nigga, I've been here for an hour and a half. And I'm going to tell you right now, them lines going to be long. Now, even early voting in some, like for the last election, the lines was crazy. Right? So these lines going to be long because we all know what we up against and who's running and who's probably going to get these nominations. We there's no guarantees in life, but we pretty much know. Shoot. And we pretty much know that everybody who cares is going to be out there voting. And please don't do like Ace said, man. Don't give up your right to vote. It's such a powerful thing, man. So,
sure
I know because I was one of the people who didn't vote.
Yes.
You know?
Bad.
What about taxes high?
Yep.
Yeah.
What you talking about, bro?
I ain't changed that shit. I've been voting for years and that shit ain't changed.
Nah, it ain't gonna change.
It doesn't impact us.
But at least you can ask the question. You know what I'm saying? If you don't vote, you can't ask the question. You just be.
This is true.
So I'll take it. What are we talking about?
Yeah.